Satya, Mind, Body, Spirit, Health, and Healing. I am happy to present to you part 2 of Rangan Chattergee's beautiful story of healing from chronic back pain.
So, I consider myself for many years now to not have a back problem. I will lift beds, sofas. I'm not limited in anything I do anymore because of my back. It was a long journey. I've shared with you some of the things in the journey: therapy, IFS, which we may talk about, and other things. This kind of holistic approach to my own healing has massively helped, I'm sure. Listeners of the show will know that I've spoken about my mum several times. Mum's quite elderly now. She's very immobile. She needs a lot of care. And sometimes she'll slip off the bed or have a fall. And maybe the carer, or often it's me or my brother, will go around and try and help Mum and get her back onto the bed or get onto her chair. Now, what's really interesting is even though my back has been healed for years, usually before I'd lift Mum up, I would be thinking, oh man, I hope this doesn't strain my back. Oh man, I've got something important this weekend. I hope I don't pull my back. There's this kind of almost self-fulfilling narrative before I do it. And invariably, the next day I'd feel a bit of tightness and then it would go. And sometimes it would last a few days and I'd be thinking, oh man, it's because I lifted Mum. Which kind of makes sense based upon the narratives that we pick up. But a few weeks ago, this is exactly what happened. I was in my kitchen. I got a call from my brother. It was about 5 p.m. And he says, hey, mate, are you around? Like, Mum slips off the bed. I need some help. I said, is Mum okay? Is this an emergency? He goes, oh, Mum's okay, but we need to get her up. Took a few deep breaths. And I thought, hey, Rangan, go round. Don't show any stress. Be totally calm. This is not a bad thing. I'm lucky that I live nearby. I can go and help my elderly mother now. Like, I reframed the narrative in my head. This is my self-talk. So I went in, said, hey, Mum, how you doing? Oh, you're sitting there on the side of your bed. You slipped off. And she had a little smile. She had a little giggle. Like, in the past, I've gone around feeling quite anxious and quite stressed. So I intentionally went in. And then I thought, before I lifted Mum, I just said, hey, I'm a strong human. Honestly, this is what I said. I'm a strong, wild, resilient human. Lifting my Mum is no problem. And I went in with a big smile on my face, got Mum up, got her back into bed. Again, this is an N=1, Howard, right? I'm aware of that. But I'm sharing this because it really speaks to your experience. This was just a few weeks ago. I consider myself to no longer have back issues. But again, there's a memory. Oh, if I do this in an awkward position, it's going to cause backache. But when I went in with complete stress-free, smiling on my face, telling myself I can handle this, no problem, I felt nothing. So that I think that speaks to what you just said.
So you just described what we would call pain reprocessing therapy. This is so when we treat people, if I can back up just a second.
Please do.
When we evaluate people, we're listening to their story. We're validating them. We're understanding them. We're looking at what symptoms they have and making sure there's not a structural problem. And we're listening to the symptoms they have and making sure that it is a neural circuit problem by the fact that it'll turn on, that it'll turn off, it'll shift, it'll move, it'll be triggered by innocuous things, it'll be inconsistent, a whole variety of criteria that we use and that were used in that back pain study that I described earlier. And then we'll look for any emotional stuff that might be going on or has gone on in their life that may have contributed to it. So we do all of that. And then we decide, oh, this is a neural circuit problem. This is amenable to reversing by 2 types of solutions. And the one solution that we're calling pain reprocessing therapy, and the other type of solution that we're calling emotional awareness and expression therapy. So the first one dealing with the neural circuits in the brain directly, and the second one dealing with emotions. And in our Boulder back pain study, we evaluated, there were a randomized controlled trial. There were 45 people randomized to our arm of the study. Of the 45, I evaluated all of them. Of the 45, 43 had nothing wrong with their back. Structurally nothing wrong. They had MRIs were abnormal, of course, but based on all of the history, as I described, this was a neural circuit problem, 43 out of the 45. The other two, I'm not 100% sure about, again, being cautious. And so and these people had an average duration of back pain of 10 years.
Wow.
Now, of those people, 44 were treated. Of those people, 33 were pain-free in 1 month. So 75% of the people we treated were pain-free after 10 years of back pain in 1 month, simply using what we're calling pain reprocessing therapy. And you just described it to a T.
Really?
Because what is pain reprocessing therapy? It's changing the narrative. It's thinking about yourself differently. It's thinking about the back differently. It's understanding why it's there. And it's understanding that it is a neural circuit. It's having hope that it's reversible, because it is. And then it's, as you go to lift or bend or move, you're telling yourself, I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm not in danger. And you're smiling. I mean, you did it. And when you smile and when you give your brain reassurances, you're turning off that danger alarm mechanism that is the actual cause of the pain. And so for these folks, we didn't go into emotional issues. We didn't go into their past. We didn't deal with their emotions at all. We just changed the narrative. And how powerful that was to have 75% of people pain-free in 1 month. I mean, it's amazing. There's never been a study with chronic back pain or any chronic pain that's shown that kind of result.
Yeah, that's incredible. 75% better after a 10-year history in 30 days.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And I hope that gives people listening and watching to this hope that actually, no matter how long you've been suffering, there may well be something you've not tried yet that could help. Now, again, do you face much skepticism from people about this? You know, what's the pushback? Where does that pushback come from? I know this is real because
it's massive.
Yeah, because I've also, I did that. I didn't know it was pain reprocessing therapy. I didn't know I was doing that on myself. I was just, based on everything I've learned, everything I've seen with patients, it's like, no, just, you don't need to have the same experience. You can change your experience of this same event. But yeah, where does the pushback come from?
Well, you did that because you felt that you could.
Yeah.
You were saying, I don't have a back problem. So that's step one. And then it's talking to yourself with this positive. I mean, it sounds silly to talk to yourself, give yourself affirmations. How stupid is that? But those have been shown in fMRI studies of the brain to change the brain.
Yeah.
Our brain is neuroplastic. And when you're giving yourself these positive messages, and then we use a graded exposure technique where you start to maybe move a little, or even imagine yourself moving with joy. Imagine yourself moving with a smile. Imagine yourself moving with these messages of safety. And we do this right in the office. And I've got videos of folks in my office where they're having pain with bending over, and then I have them imagine bending over, and then it hurts. And say, oh, you're imagining bending over, and it hurts. Your brain is afraid of you bending over. Oh, yeah, that's what's happening. And now tell yourself you're safe and you're not in danger, and smile and bend over 5 degrees and then 10 degrees, and pretty soon they're bending over. Because those neural circuits are changeable because it's not a structural problem. That's amazing that we see this happening on a oftentimes really quick basis. Not always, but oftentimes.
The first thing that comes to mind for me after watching this clip is the reminder that in the majority of chronic pain cases, there is actually nothing wrong with the physical body. So to even say something like, my back healed, isn't quite on the mark. It would be more accurate to say that my beliefs changed and that I healed emotionally. It is so important to remember that this is a process that one engages themselves in. Yes, some pains and symptoms will disappear simply by gaining the knowledge that nothing is wrong with the body, and that the root of the problem is not within the physical body itself. I experienced the disappearance of many symptoms and pains just by gaining this knowledge, but other symptoms and pains may require more emotional healing and changes within our lives. I have also found that healing doesn't always occur overnight. It takes time to calm down, learn to breathe again, and get our nervous systems out of the survival fight-or-flight response. It also takes time to alter our belief on the subconscious level necessary for healing to occur. The way I understand the two approaches to healing that Dr. Schubiner mentions in this talk are: 1. We need to heal our beliefs about the body. We need to let go of the false belief that something is physically wrong with our body. And 2, we need to begin the process of healing spiritually and emotionally. The process is of uncovering all of our repressed traumas and emotions, understanding the purpose of pain in our lives, and learning to surrender. The most important thing you can do is remember that this is a process. Healing is not linear and does not work within any precise timeline, and we need to have love, understanding, and compassion for ourselves as we move forward. It is a process. Keep that in mind. If you found this to be meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe to support and encourage future creations of this kind. This content has been created with the sole intent of educating about, increasing awareness around, and deepening the understanding of the mind-body syndrome, and more broadly speaking, the mind-body-spirit connection. To hear this clip in its full context, please visit the original media source. And to learn more about the mind-body-spirit connection, you can visit howtosayfupolitely.com. Until next time, love your struggle and remain free.